everybody. This is the Sourceseeker Hour, and I'm your host, Baruti Carl Alexander. I thank everybody for joining us. This is going to be a very, very important show. Fighting depression, finding brighter light, but with the emphasis this time on healthy living and trying to have a healthy demeanor, a mindset. All of those things are very important if we ever going to get to the point where we carry ourselves with the mindset of health, taking care of ourselves. Why is it so difficult for us to take care of ourselves? Even though we know that it's important for our longevity. That's like asking, why does somebody smoke? Why do they drink when we know those things are difficult? So that's what we're going to have this discussion on. We have some powerful, let me say it again, powerful guests. And we're going to have this great discussion that everybody needs to hear. But before we do that, we have, some people call it a pandemic, some people call it an epidemic. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of interest. What is going on with the coronavirus? I want to go around the table. First, introduce yourself, then make a comment on how you feel about that. Let's start with Britnee.
Hello, my name is Britnee. I am co-owner of Vegans. We are an alkaline vegan restaurant located in Houston, Texas. A few points that I would like to make about the corona pandemic on the basis of
just how you personally feel about it. Is it scary to you? Is it, just how you personally feel about it, not from any scientific level.
Okay. Well, from my approach, I am not in a fearful approach. I'm more for a building your body, your immune system, in order to, if it does happen, to our bodies will be prepared to eliminate it on its own.
Okay. Jessica, why is immune system so important in that? And please introduce yourself.
Yes, I am Jessica, co-owner of Phegans.
Phegans?
Yes, Phegans. And I am definitely outside with Britnee. I am not fearful, and I don't think other people should be fearful. We should look at it more like what she's saying. Always stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And right now, the best thing that we can do is build up our immune system. And doing that just to prepare yourself, but and like she said, building your immune system, allow your body to fight it on its own, and definitely equips you with what you need in order to not succumb to this virus.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Sabrina Echols,
and they're swabbing the patients, and we get the results back within 24 hours. And so as you can see, we have had fatalities here in the United States. This is very serious. This is something we've never seen before. This is a virus we don't even know, how to really treat this virus. We're treating the symptoms. Antibiotics won't treat this virus. Antibiotics only treat bacteria. So this is very serious, and what I'm telling my patients is just stay well prepared. Make sure you don't go to work sick. Make sure if you're coughing, cover up. Many of them.
What are some things that can strengthen the immune system?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C, okay,
Yeah.
simple as that.
I'm telling my patients to increase their vitamin C daily, echinacea. That helps boost their immune system.
I gotta go buy me some orange juice.
Yeah. And I'm asking the patients to avoid alcohol and avoid, if they smoke, trying to help people to stop smoking, because those are things that decrease your immune system. Alcohol can decrease your immune system. And so...
and that goes right into our discussion. Why do people do some of the things that they do, but they know they're not good for them? And I'm talking about myself too. I'm not perfect. I'm trying to do better. But this discussion hopefully will help put in my mind, as well as other people's mind, to do better. Ms. Cassandra Barnes, what do you have to say on that subject?
Well, I am licensed as provisional under supervision at this time. Dr. Sabrina basically covered from a healthcare perspective a lot of the things that we are promoting my company we have a massive rollout of prevention, and we want to encourage everybody, as everyone has said, increase your fluid intake, stay well hydrated, use hand sanitizers. We want you to wash your hands with soap and water, but if you can't, use the hand sanitizers. The Lysol spray actually is really good at managing that virus. As Dr. Sabrina mentioned, it's a virus, it's not a bacteria. So there's no known cure.
Can you explain the difference between a virus and a bacteria for lay people like myself?
Who don't know the difference?
No.
Okay,
Those are words to me.
right. So you have two different categories of medications that we use to treat infections. So a bacterial infection is more receptive to what we call your antibiotics and your broad spectrum antibiotics. Viruses are very different. So this is why you get a lot of pushback. Say if a patient has a cold and they go to the doctor and they want antibiotics, and the doctor doesn't want to give them antibiotics because antibiotics do not kill viruses. And so they is the pathophysiology of it is very complicated, but your antibiotics will not treat a virus. This is why there's no known cure for the coronavirus. We only can treat the symptoms and keep it managed well enough until your body begins to eradicate it on its own. So it is very serious. It is something I respect you all's position about not being concerned about, but I'm telling you.
No, we
it's
don't want
something-
people to be fearful, definitely
Yeah,
concerned,
but not
fear. Do not
Because
be
it's
fearful.
literally
Yes.
a very, very dangerous virus. In healthcare, we kind of hear this a lot, and we get kind of immune to the seriousness of certain, because it's like every other year something. If it's not E. coli, it's blueberry ice cream, it's this,
Yeah.
and all of that. But this right here is something we have to take seriously. And like Dr. Sabrina says, we literally get updated daily. I mean, I can't even keep up with the emails because of the companies that I work for and what our role is in healthcare management. But please take it seriously. Please do what you can to protect yourself. The mask and all of these things are on back order. So you just have to do your due diligence, build up your immune system, take your vitamin C, you know, as Dr. Sabrina
Drink your
suggested,
alkaline water.
and
And
stay well hydrated.
Thank you, Cassandra. I really want to hone in on this because we are all saying it's dangerous. We are saying keep your immune system strong. But if it's not in their mind, it could be the most dangerous thing in the world. But if people are not at the point where they care strongly to be able to save or help themselves, then that's for those other people until they get it. What'd you say about that, Cassandra? Why is it that people don't? Why is it that I don't do what I need to do? Why is it in relationship to all the things going on?
Well, my name is Kenisha Drayton. I am a licensed professional counselor and the owner of Oasis of LITE Counseling. So, one thing I will say and be transparent about, I'm not as knowledgeable as you guys are about the coronavirus. But I am very big. I teach my family. I talk to my clients. I'm very big about being careful of my surroundings when people are openly coughing. I keep hand sanitizers with me all the time, my little Bath and Body Works sanitizers. I mean, I don't necessarily go around just being fearful, you know, but I am watchful. I am cautious. A couple of years ago, I mean, I did have the flu. And so that was a horrible feeling, you know. And so after that, it just led me to become a little bit more cautious about washing my hands, watching these doorknobs when you're coming out of the restrooms, and
But if I can
washing
ask,
your hands before you eat.
from a mental health level, Why is it that we cannot get to the point where we see all of these risks, but we still go down that road?
Because our minds are somewhere else.
Where are they at?
Fixated on things that's basically sidetracking you and derailing you from your progress to, focus on what's going on, not acting up on it, carelessness, and not eating right, not washing your hands, being in a rush all the time, not thinking that they could ever catch any type of illness.
That's it right
That's
there.
it. That's the
not,
issue.
it's so many people think that, well, it'll never happen to me. And one of the things is, if we're telling people build up your immune system, they may not even know what that means. And so,
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
Let's break down that immune
when you
system.
say why can't we do the right things, is because people can't see their immune system. People can't actually touch their immune system. They can touch their hands, they can touch their arms, they can tell you, hey, something's wrong with my legs, but they can't tell you something's wrong with my immune system.
But psychologically, we know that we get cut, we bleed.
Right.
We do know that. So we can't make the correlation between okay, this may happen if I do this, so I shouldn't do this. I'm speaking for myself too. It's a hard thing, and there's many people that have the same problem. We know. I'm an intelligent man. I know, but it's not a simple thing. How was it that you were able, Britnee, to go to the level of discipline to have those eating habits that you described last time? What was the process that started you on that road?
Well, I am a good person to talk about this because I succumb to my temptations a lot. And even in the face of me having lost my left eye vision, less work, I still, okay, so just a little rewind back. I've always, since I can remember, had eye illness. But I had lost my left eye a few years ago. I found out about Dr. Sage's diet. I completely changed my diet, and my vision has changed drastically. Okay? But still here and there, I would do things that I know I'm not supposed to be doing. Just because I'm like, well, that's just what I want to do. And then so I actually, introspection, understanding that creating understanding okay, I'm not getting the results that I want. And so what is stopping me from doing that? So I created a why. I want to be able to see. I want to be able to see my children. So when I have certain temptations, I go back to the things that are important to me. A strong reason why, I'm doing what I'm doing. Because I feel like it's a habit of mine. Everything that I've been doing my entire life is a habit. So I'm breaking strong habits.
And you had the motivation of wanting to see your babies.
Yeah.
That's a strong motivation.
Yeah.
You want to speak on that, Jessica?
I just wanted to reiterate on what she was saying. When you're facing certain temptations, or you're going back to things that are not great for you, you have to keep your why. That is the biggest advice that we can give. Keep your reason why, and it just keep you motivated.
Do you want to share something on that?
I want to add to that. That is so awesome. Is to write down your why, write down your affirmations, and say them every day, and keep them a place where you can see it. Because without a vision, the people perish. And
Yes.
so if you're just having it in your head, you need to write it down. You need to see it. You need to say it, and continue to
Continuous self-talk, and then having gatherings and associations like this, and we'll have more. This is the Sourceseeker Hour on Afro Vibes Radio, the #1 internet station in the world. I thank everybody for joining us, and we're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Thank you for joining us again. We're here on the Sourceseeker Hour, the #1 show on the #1 station, Afro Vibes Radio. And the Sourceseeker Hour, I'm the host, Rudy Carl Alexander, the Sourceseeker. I appreciate everybody joining us today. We're continuing a very important discussion. We started out talking about the coronavirus. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Very important subject in our community today. But we want to know, why do people overeat, not take care of themselves, even though they know the difficulty that it may cause? Very difficult to understand. That's a part of our makeup, a part of the things that God put in us, this willpower, these different ways to look at the world. We are bombarded with unhealthy food images. Can we share what these images do to our mind and different things? And we're going to go back around the room and do some introductions. Again, if you could share, Britnee, what do some of these images do to our mind, and why do we succumb to them?
Well, it is all a marketing strategy, in my opinion. They target us, not even us, but like as a people, you know.
And tell us your name again.
My name is Britnee. I am the co-owner of Phegans, alkaline vegan cuisine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And for those of you who do not know, that's in the Shape Center, and they serve very delicious food. Some of the things that you all do Lenten?
No,
we follow
Yes.
Dr. Saban nutritional
Okay,
guide.
give us a couple of things on that.
We have fried oyster mushrooms, which is like our fried chicken. We have our alkaline walnut ground meats. It's very good. And also our loaded burro banana fries, which are made from burro bananas, which are different from plantains, similar but different because they are the natural banana. Plantains are hydrated and are not good for us, actually.
high in starch.
Well,
High in starch.
You had me when you did the
I am serious about
You
this
go, girl.
food, okay?
yes. Dr. Sabrina Echols.
Dr. Sabrina Echols.
Yes.
I'm the owner of Butterfly Wellness Clinic, located here in Stafford, 1250 Texas Parkway.
What are some of the reasons or some of the systematic things that affect us, and how do they affect us? And is it subliminal? Why does it work so effectively?
Well, it's multifactorial. It's not just one nor two things. You have to, number one, I'm thinking about the first thing that comes to my mind is the culture and where someone is coming from. So, for example, I grew up in Chicago, and I moved here to train at Baylor for medicine. So the culture that I grew up in, even though I'm African American, is totally different than someone, for example, who grew up in maybe Louisiana, and their eating habits, for example. And so you got to look at the family dynamics and the culture where people are coming from, the Latino, and their family, what they cook at home, and what the family gathers around in celebration time and cooking and eating. And so when you start to look at different cultures, you'll start to see certain patterns, even different regions. When people are coming from New York, totally different eating habits than someone coming from California, San Francisco, LA, things like that.
Do genetics, environment, we already said culture,
Yeah.
but do those other factors factor in also?
Definitely.
Okay.
I would say environment and their lifestyle, where they live, who they're surrounded by, where they work, factor in so much more than genetics. For example, we can have an Asian family migrate to the United States and adapt the eating habits of Americans, eating fast food, fried foods, on the go, and they get the same diseases, heart disease, the number one cause of death in the United States of America is heart disease. But when they were in Asia, it might have been a different disease. But because they migrated and their lifestyle here, they adapt our culture, and then they start to get some of the diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, things that they didn't even have in their own country.
Ms. Barnes, so she said genetics, she said environment, she said culture. So if I surround myself around vegans, then I would be a little bit better as far as my health. Then if I surround myself with people who talk an intelligent talk, well, I do that myself sometimes, but then I would be in an intelligent conversation. But if I go to a street corner store and hang out with bros, it's like, man, I might do that. So it's about who you're around, what you take in.
And it goes back to what you were saying about imaging as well, the images that we have. And so you're surrounded by these different images, like these companies targeting us, especially our community, the African American community, where black women are, it's the rate over half of black women in America are obese. 56% according to the CDC. So that just go to show you how the imaging, what you're saying, and being affected with the environment, how that is affecting us. For sure.
Yes, ma'am. So, Cassandra, what you think about that?
Okay. Well, one thing that I want to kind of clear up, and Dr. Sabrina can weigh in on it as well, is we tend to think that a lot of this stuff is mainly genetics, when actually it's really not. Genetics play a very small role in your physiological makeup. We tend to think, well, my grandparents had diabetes, my grandparents had high blood pressure. It's really not genetically based, it's culture based, and it's habit based. It's not really genetic based, but the reason why people think that is because we tend to pass down our same habits that our foreparents had. Yes, it's not actually genetics. That's a misconception. So this is why when you, and then as a culture people, and I'll speak to African Americans, we celebrate our bad habits. You know, we celebrate eating soul food. You go to a soul food place, they're gonna give you a plate this big, full of salt, a lot of greasy food with a lot of gravy, a lot of carb. Look, I mean, we celebrate eating unhealthy. You know, and then like me, I'm still, like you said, somewhat overweight by maybe about 15 or 20 pounds. And then there are a lot of dynamics for that, you know, menopause and hormones. Literally takes mind over, you crave it, it's like a drug.
We've been doing these things for years.
It's
They've been working on our mind for years.
Yeah.
They've been working on our mind for generations.
And I think those images that you were saying.
Yes,
and I think the other dynamic is we tend to downplay the end result. You know, so I'm not dealing with it today. I mean, diabetes is one of the deadliest, one of the worst disease processes you can have. It literally attacks all of your body. But what do people do when they're young and they're asymptomatic? They're gonna eat what they want. Well, I'll just take my insulin.
It's one of the deadliest, but one of the most preventable.
Yes. Early on.
Yes.
You know, but once you get past that 15, 20 minute year history of diabetes, it's very, very difficult.
That's so funny
to
that you
reverse
mentioned diabetes as well, because I actually was concerned with my daughter having diabetes at one point. Before we got into the lifestyle following, you know, the alkaline foods, the doctor gave us a diagnosis because she was concerned. She was showing the symptoms, the dark neck, the smell, you know, just certain things. And I was like, my daughter might have diabetes, but I did not want to claim that. And I never went to get tested. Instead, I shifted everything that we ate. And today I have no worries, no problems. When she's been checkup after checkup, there's no more concern with diabetes. So they just go to show you how much, you know, just making small changes, you can prevent those diseases.
Yes, and you absolutely can, but the key, just like she stated, is early, being on top of it early. Like, I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes, and so I had to look at a lot of things, me and my doctor, and it's difficult to readjust, you know, because we're creatures of habit. I've never been a smoker, but I can imagine if that smoking calms you down, like my patients, like one of my patients would tell me, as it relates to smoking weed, they're in a lot of chronic pain, and said, you still have the pain, but you don't care. You know, after they get high and they smoke the marijuana, it doesn't bother you. It's like, so everything is psychological. Mind over matter is a real issue, and habit, it is extremely difficult to break the habits, even when you understand the outcome.
Let me bring Kenisha in on that. She was talking about smoking weed, drinking, which in our community we love. What are the mental effects of doing that? You know, some people say, hey, it ain't no problem, I can function, so forth and so on. But if somebody consistently doing those things over a period of time, what can be the mental effects on their psychology and their function?
Are you talking about the marijuana smoking and the drug use and the food, or which one?
All of those things. Let's go with all of those things. Yes,
I
ma'am.
see. Yes. Well, first I wanted to say that, you know, majority of my clientele are African American or Black women.
Okay.
Okay, so first I want to quickly say that when a woman and men, but mostly with women, whenever our stress level rises, it raises cortisol. Okay?
What is cortisol?
It's a hormone in the body that causes belly fat.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
And so, a lot of times, you know, and this even happened to me as well. You know, when you're on the go all the time, you're not thinking about eating, and then whenever you're on the go and you have to put something in your stomach, you don't realize you're hungry until you're starving to death or you get a headache. And so you pass by the nearest Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, and so a lot of times, you know, we'll tend to eat emotionally, okay? So whenever that happens, then that's whenever we're eating the junk foods. You know, the carbs, which are turning into sugars later on. And so, which causes more low self-esteem as well in African American and Black women. And so I remember you saying something about that, about how that affects the mental health of us as well. And so, whenever we don't eat right, that causes a lot of stress because we're worried about our body images. And then, whenever we're stressed out, we're running to eat with comfort foods. And see, a lot of times subconsciously we don't realize that when we eat foods that are not healthy for us, what it's doing, that weight, is actually a boundary that we're setting for ourselves. So I kind of, you know, digress a little bit, but my thing is that whenever we watch what we eat with the fast food, all of that is sugar being broken down. You know, the stress of it, you know, when we eat the foods that's raising your blood pressure, what happens whenever you have too much sugar in your body? What happens when a diabetic, you know, their sugar rises? What is their behavior like? I've seen some people become erratic, rambunctious, restless, angry. Yes, a lot of our diets have a lot to do with that.
But little do we know, we are actually addicted to those foods. The foods are affecting our mind. It's like a drug addict. And then you feel like, oh, you know, I'm mad, but it's your mind, your physiological makeup is changing in these foods, and you are actually becoming addicted. You literally can go through withdrawals once you quit eating this type of food.
And you know what? Cut out the happy hours, you know, because all of that wine, those beautiful margaritas, is nothing but sugar.
Chips and sugar, and then going a point above that, sugar breaks down to candida, and candida, a lot of us are walking around with.
What is candida?
Candida is a yeast. It's a yeast, and it literally grows. Yeast grows, it multiplies. And so when those cravings are connected to the candida, a lot of us have candida overgrowth, and we walk around not even aware. A lot of our women have pH imbalances, and that's all going back to the foods that we eat.
And that goes into my next question. Does an abnormal pH level, I think that's what you're talking about, excuse me, cause an abnormal mental state? And
Yes.
Yes,
You
it
are
does.
what you eat. It's tied to your mentality very much. And you know, when you talk about pH, that you're getting with us now. We are vegans.
Yes.
pH is vegans with the pH. We're a step above vegan food. We're focused on making sure that your pH value, you're eating foods that are complementary to your cells that can thrive in an alkaline state. And alkaline, that's a pH that is 7 or higher. 7, yes.
What is an acidic? You say it's 7 and higher. What is acidic?
When you
2
fall
or low?
below, when you fall below 7, yes. And
Okay.
you want your body to remain in you prefer the alkaline state. Yes.
Is alkaline state connected with your water level or something like that? Is that?
Well, we encourage you to drink
Okay.
water.
Okay.
A lot of people think alkaline water, but you want to have spring water because
Okay.
that has the minerals that your body needs, and that's what you want to focus on is the minerals. Yes, it's providing
See,
your body with.
we could have a whole show about
Man,
alkaline,
we could
acidic,
break it
and all
down,
that kind of stuff. We could do all that.
But it all just boils down to your mind, and the food affects your mental state.
And I've always said that you got to start with the mind before you can ever get to the point where you are really taking care of your body.
But to add to that,
Yes.
when you start making those small changes, you're going to see your mind start shifting as well. And I am a witness, high witness to that, because I suffer with depression, anxiety, and mind fog. I'm a single mother raising 4 children, just feeling like just in a fog. And I have friends that are like that, you know, and they don't realize, guys, if you change your diet, if you change what you're consuming, what you're putting in your body, you can really begin to have a clear mind state. The mind fog, it will begin to disappear.
Clean eating.
Yes.
Isn't there
clean.
for television in the community? You know, how many people say, "Hey man, let's go to happy hour. Let's go do this." So, building a support system is a very
As
important part of it.
vegans, we are here to support you guys. If y'all go on our website, sign up. We're hosting a group intermittent fast right now, and we're dedicated to supporting our clients for sure. So that is very interesting that you put that out there. Support. You have to find somebody to help you with accountability. Me and Britney, we did this together.
I had to come visit y'all at
We are
Phegans
hosting a
Houston.
fast. Join us. We are actually on day 5 of our fast. We're doing water and herbs only, but we're hosting an intermittent fast, so you don't have to feel like you're starving.
Okay.
But,
We are going to round this up, but we have a whole lot of information out there, and we want everybody to give their shout out, their information, so that if people want to contact you, they can. But before I do that, I want to tell you who's bringing the Sourceseeker Hour to you. The Brighter Source Group, we are the ones who produce the Sourceseeker Hour. And the Brighter Source Group, we are combating community deterioration by our group and the different things that we do. This is the one asset of it, the Sourceseeker Hour. We also are working toward assisted living, exercise programs, and many different things. Check out our website, check out our Facebook page, check out our Brighter Light, so many different things, so many different ways that you can see things that we are doing. At this time, I want to go around the room and have everybody give a shout out, a way to contact them and talk about Phegans, talk about acidic, talk about alkaline, all of those things that you want to talk about the coronavirus if you want to, talk to Dr. Echols. So we want to go around the room and do that. Start with Phegans. Yes, Dr.
Dr.
Echols.
Sabrina, Butterfly Wellness, 281-969-5601. Website is www.drsabrinaButterfly.com.
My name is Cassandra Barnes, and I am the owner of the Victoria Barnes Mental Health and Wellness Center. My email is actually my name, Cassandra Barnes, RN@gmail.com. And I am counseling part-time under supervision as I am an intern. I am looking for clients. So please feel free to reach out to me. And my cell phone number is actually 832-287-8557. My Facebook page is the Victoria Barnes Health and Wellness Center. So please look me up. I have a lot of content dealing with mental health issues, and I'll be happy to speak with you.
Thank you very much. Now let's learn about Oasis of Life.
All right, I'm Kenisha Drayton, LPC, and I'm the owner of Oasis of Life Counseling. You can reach me on Facebook. I have Oasis of Life Counseling Facebook page, but you can also schedule appointments if you like. And I'm on Instagram, and my email address is oasisoflifecounseling@hotmail.com. I check my phones for messages all the time, and I usually reply within from 1 hour to 24 hours.
Blessings, blessings, peace and power, everybody. This has been a great show. The Sourceseeker Hour now has guest hosts. If you're interested, you have an issue or a discussion that you want to have, contact me and learn about how to be a guest host if that's something that you want to do and bring your message to the community through the Sourceseeker Hour. If you're interested in sponsorship, same thing, contact me and we can work with you on that. This has been a great show. Again, we were talking about combating depression with healthy living. And this is Finding Brighter Light, Fighting Depression. We thank you very much. This is a monthly show. We are going to have all kinds of different things to talk about, things that affect the mind, and we're trying to bring a better spirit and a better way. This is the Sourceseeker Hour. I'm your host, Britnee. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.